What's up, everybody? It's your boy GQ, and I'm here with Boulevard. He is
I'm
there,
here.
and we're getting ready to give you our another great episode of Live from the Bench. Today's episode is going to be discussing the matchup of the Carolina Panthers versus the Philadelphia Eagles. In my opinion, I believe that this is probably going to be one of the most important matches in the remaining matchups of the season, and I'm gonna give a couple reasons why. But I wanna speak on how the season has gone for the Philadelphia Eagles. Because the way it was starting out, like we really thought that this was not gonna be a good team. They were just looking bad. The coaching was bad in the beginning. It was just a whole lot of indecisiveness and bad decision making on the coaching staff. And might I say that I'm very much jealous of Boulevard's Christmas tree. Like I need to have me something. It's really cool. I need one myself. But
Hanging from it for ornaments. Wow.
but yeah. So just the way the Eagles shaped out their season, they kind of carved out something that we didn't expect after what was it? They won the first game and then went on a losing streak, I believe it was. Or I think they split. They were splitting games.
Whom?
The Eagles, the
Eagles?
way they started. Yeah.
They won at Green Bay. I remember that. Well, they won in Brazil. I'll just go to it so we have the accuracy.
Yeah.
Rather be accurate.
So I don't know if I was feeling like they split. It was like they won one, lost one, lost one, or was it like something completely different?
Oh no, in 2.5 seconds. Beat Packers, L Falcons, W Saints, L Bucks. So yeah, what you said, back and forth.
Okay. So yeah, that was just like not really. That wasn't looking good. It wasn't what we expected. And then I think like changes started happening. Like they start listening to what the fans were saying. And we're like, all right, maybe we need to lean more on Saquon. And they did that. You've seen the difference. It works. The system works. So, but I think that change came a little bit too late because the Lions kind of just took over the NFC, and now the Eagles are like trying to play catch up. And if the Lions continue to play the way they've been playing, this makes me want to ask my next question. Should the Eagles concede and accept the second seed, or do they keep fighting and hoping that the Detroit Lions slip up?
I don't even understand what that question means. No, they shouldn't give up. They haven't even clinched a playoff spot yet, let alone a 2 seed. It's too early to be conceding anything. Shit, there's still 5 weeks left. They're still playing for position, not just a 1 seed. They're still playing to win their division. They shouldn't by any means give up or start pulling punches. No. Do what got you here, because that's the only thing that's giving you success. If it's working, you don't deviate from the plan. No. Whether or not they finish a 1 seed for the bye or 2 seed, at this point, this week is irrelevant. That's something we need to be focused on weeks from now, 3-4 weeks from now. That's when that's imperative. All they can do out there now is just play their asses off against whoever's in front of them. This week for the Bills, for the Lions, it's Buffalo. For the Eagles, it's Carolina. So if there's any week where they can close that 1-game gap, which is barely there, if you remember the Saquon was one catch from 11-1 at this point.
Yeah.
So, the Lions could feasibly lose this week to Buffalo. So, Eagles got what most of us would consider an easy matchup. Even the spread's fucking crazy.
I cannot wait to see that spread when you give it to us in the main event.
All right. Well, it's crazy. Last I saw was just ridiculous. So, one of those double-digit spreads that don't make any sense.
Yeah. Well, the intro, I said that this is like one of the most important matchups.
It's actually went up since last time I looked at it, so that's even crazier. It's higher now.
I think it's because Devontae Smith is healthy now.
Yes,
Even
the
though Goddard,
sleeper is playing.
yeah, even though Goddard's went down injured reserve, I didn't even know he got hurt, or I might not have seen it when he got hurt. So I'm still looking at the injury report because I'm trying to see if Reed, like I didn't hear anything about Reed Blankenship. So
All right, let's find out.
see, this is why we got an analytical genius in Boulevard. Now he probably just reads, he just reads. He does his research.
No, if I was researching hard enough, I'd know the answer to this already. I ain't do no research this week. I ain't even bother. I'm sitting on a bunch of notes from this past Eagles game, this upcoming game. That's all I got. I haven't really paid attention to the league as a whole this week. There's too much going on.
Absolutely.
But yeah, looks like our outs are Blankenship is out, Brown is out, Cubby's out, Goddard's out. Those are all the outs. Everyone else will be on a report, will be available.
So we're looking at more McCollum. Jesus.
Looks like it.
All right.
And Calcaterra or Azoma.
Oh, yeah, 81. He just had a birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to Grant Calcaterra, even though we're a little late. So I'm going to ask this question, Boulevard. It's going to be a weird one, but you're smart enough to understand it. I don't know if everybody else at home is going to be smart enough to understand it. But are the Panthers going to be a drag or a lift for the Eagles' flight path to the playoffs?
Those sound like airplane words. You've been playing Flight Simulator again?
I never stopped.
Oh, well, I don't see this. I mean, yeah, the Panthers have been playing hot, and I could see to some extent where some people would think, hey, this could be an upset. I don't see it happening. I don't see the Panthers having enough to stay with the Eagles. I don't see enough. I don't see them having enough to contain the receivers. I don't see them having enough to stop Saquon.
No.
I mean, yeah,
go ahead.
It should be as big a blowout realistically as we all expect it to be because Carolina's been playing better. It's not like that's translated to too many wins or anything like that. It hasn't. I mean, they look like a team now. They don't look like a disaster like they did the first half of Bryce Young's play. He looks improved. They look improved, but they're still not a real threat to anyone. Correct. They're still the Panthers. It's still the same roster almost that it started the season with. I mean, Jonathan Brooks is playing now, but it's still the Panthers. So
yeah. So where my thoughts have been actually on this is actually on what the Philadelphia Eagles is. The Eagles have been playing so well, and what some people have noticed because the people who have noticed are Jalen Hurts haters. They're like Jalen Hurts is not coming out here lighting the stat sheet up.
He doesn't
because he hasn't had to. He hasn't had to come out there throwing 20 to 30 passes. He just didn't have to.
Right.
Because they're doing what they're supposed to do and actually causing separation, and they're doing it with the run for the most part. So, and this is where I come to that, where I get in that thought process where it's been on my thought the whole year. The Eagles aren't even at their ceiling yet. Like, this isn't the best version of the team that we're watching week by week. Like, there is still a whole lot more this team can do. And they don't have to do it because they're not. And a lot of people saying that they're not playing against good teams. I'm like,
that's not in their control, and that's a bullshit cop out.
I think it's always been a cop out on every level because
you have no control over that.
Yes. And anybody can come out any day and perform. Any play can happen anyway. There's no guarantee how something happens. Somebody can slip and then a touchdown. We don't know what can happen. Baguette can get a touchdown, or Leggett or whatever his name, he can get a touchdown or he can drop a pass.
This team did lose to the Falcons earlier this season, so
right. So
things can happen.
Yeah.
But as far as all the Hurts nonsense, put it this way. He's averaging 8.1 yards per completion. Okay, that's solid. That's above middle of the pack. Passer rating of 101.1. That's good. 100 will be the baseline, so it's above baseline. He's closing on 500 yards rushing. Second in the NFL in average time to throw. So he's getting the ball off. He's making completions at 68.4%. That's seventh. And his completion percentage over average is first. It's higher than anyone else's in the league. I believe it's about 6%, 6.3% above expectation. Like you would expect a 61% completion. He's hitting 68.4. This success with the ball is also considering the fact that he has the fewest attempts and completions of any starting quarterback in the NFL. And he's like fifth lowest in passing yards. But it's not necessarily about the quantity, but the quality.
Yes, exactly.
He has a solid core of receivers to throw it to. They can get away 40 yards after completion. They're moving the ball downfield, and he doesn't have to carry the load with his legs or his arm because he has weapons that can do the work for him. So you're saying his stats look bad, but that's just the balance of the offense. They're relying more on the run. And if you're running it more, you're obviously not passing it as much. This is just basic bucket math. You only have so many plays. It's not a knock on Hurts because he's making do with the scraps he's given. Meanwhile, the guy who's carrying the brunt of the load is leading the league. So you can't really go away from him just to appease the fans who want to say, oh, yeah, he's not throwing the ball enough. They're winning. It's successful. It's not a knock on Hurts. How can it possibly be a knock on Hurts? They're winning. He's not like going crazy with the turnovers as he's done in the past. He's not making bad decisions. So what's the problem? They're winning. He's not throwing it away. We're not losing game. We're not making decisions that cost us games on either side of the ball. But specifically Hurts, there was nothing wrong with Hurts' performance this season. It's just the fact that Barkley is putting in an MVP caliber year. That's the wrong with
that. That was perfect. And so but I want to go back to the question: is this a drag or a lift? This game a drag or a lift? So
it's not going to bring Philly down.
Well, I'll say this: if the Eagles were to find a way to mess up, and I mean they really have to find a way to mess up to lose this game, it will be a major drag on the just their confidence. Now, the reason why I say this will be a lift if they win this game, because this is the game potentially where you see both aspects of this dynamic offense really coming out. Like Jalen Hurts throwing for 250 yards, Saquon rushing for 125 yards. I see that this can be the game that this happens.
You said 125 or 425?
No, 120.
Oh, okay.
Jalen to throw 250, Saquon to rush for 125. I see this being the game that this happens, and everybody are like, okay, now we really have to start giving the respect to the Eagles. If you're not giving the respect to the Eagles, this will be it. And I know people will be like, oh, it's the Panthers. Again, anything can happen any day. Any team can come out. Like we just said, the Panthers just won 2 straight. The Panthers just came out here, gave Mahomes the run. They came out here and humbled Blake. Damn, that's not his name. What is his name? The Buccaneers quarterback. Damn, why did I forget this man's name?
Mayfield. Like you were about to say Blake Bortles out here.
I was, but it's a testament to how he played in that game against the Panthers. He was throwing interceptions every which way. So it's like they can potentially beat. I don't know. I feel like this is
averaging 125 yards per game. I'm imagining that 6.1 yards per carry and all of that. That's going to stay the same. That's not going to be affected this game. He's still going to run all over this defense.
Oh, for sure.
Which, I mean, like, I don't see. I mean, schematically, yeah, maybe they could figure out something that could contain this offense. It's possible. These things happen. I mean, all of these coaches in the NFL, you expect them to be good at what they do. So you can find a way to schematically challenge the Eagles to do enough for Panthers kids on both sides of the ball to actually, clock control and all of that good shit. There are ways. It's not like it's an unbeatable team that they're playing. Anybody can beat anybody any given Sunday and all of that shit.
Great movie.
But I don't see it happening. I mean, who's going to stop A.J. Brown? That man missed 3 games and he's still in the top 15 in receiving yards. He's third in yards per game. That's why. Who's going to slow that down? He's got 35% of his team's air yards, so he is a player they must focus on. But who's going to stop him? A double team doesn't stop him. Goddard's out. That's disappointing because he's got a hell of a target shit. Like he's got 82% of his targets he's caught. So and then you got Devontae Smith, who's only played 9 games this year, and he's in the top 50 in receiving yards. So the offense is moving. There's threats on both sides of that damn field, both sides of that damn, hash mark.
Mm-hmm.
They can't contain both of them.
Right.
And that's without Goddard in the middle. That's even not even counting with Barkley. Even if we didn't have Barkley, we were running out there with like a Gainwell. I think we'd still have a strong possibility this game, even without Barkley, even without our MVP candidate. I think this team wouldn't have too much of a rough time against this Carolina defense. As well as they've been playing the last few weeks, as well as Bryce has been playing this last few weeks. They're a bad team. It's still a bad team. It's still a bad roster. Are they motivated? Maybe. Is Bryce Young more comfortable in the offense? Obviously. Maybe they've dumbed it down or just they made some adjustments that makes it easier for him. Clearly. He's seeing the game better. But, I mean, you still look at that roster, and no one expects much out of that roster top to bottom. This will just be another game, 2-game win streak for Carolina, what have you, doesn't matter. It's just not it's just not going to happen. That team doesn't have the strengths. They don't have the talent. They don't have the know-how, the firepower. There's no hope this season. They're like 6-7 pieces away from being a real fucking threat to a strong team like the Eagles or the Lions. Kansas City's just flopping all over the place right now. They seem a little lost, but they still manage to pull out wins. That's why Carolina could keep up with them because Kansas City's not playing their best. You'd call that like a fluke or a moral victory for Carolina. There's no moral victory this week. Just an ass whooping. Team that averages 180 yards per game on the ground. What's Carolina going to do against that? Nothing, because that's like their Eagles control the clock with Saquon. So Carolina can't score if they don't have the ball. They're not especially going to be stuck keen on stopping. They're not going to be able to stop. There's 2 players on that offense that Carolina can't stop. That's why they won't win. That's simple. Yeah, Eagles do a lot of fumbling. Yes, the Eagles get a lot of sacks, get sacked a lot. Maybe that gives Carolina a chance, but Carolina doesn't have a chance.
Okay. I respect all of that. Now, I'm going to say this.
Long-winded bullshit, I just said.
It was great. But I'll say this. Even though we already expect this game, the Eagles to take this game, we expect it. I expect to see a lot of points scored, and it's going to be really one-sided. But the reason why this is going to be so important is because, as you mentioned earlier, that the Lions are taking on the Bills. Mm-hmm. The way the Lions have been playing recently is like they're playing way too close. It's these games way too close. Like anything could lose the game for them, and it's just way
Yeah,
too
3
close.
points to the Bears, 3-point game to the Packers.
Yeah, that's a like they're playing too risky, and I feel like this might be the game. Um, I don't know if you can see right now. Where's the game? Is it in Detroit or is it in Buffalo?
It's in Detroit.
Okay, that could be something to be concerned about because Sonic and Knuckles playing in Detroit, but
Mhm.
uh who knows? I mean, this could be a game that really tests the Lions and could be something where those close, like winning close, could become a issue. It could be something that they can't contend with. And the reason why this matchup would be that important for the Eagles is because they'd win. They'd win and they put themselves right there where it's not so much of a game behind for the number one seed. They're basically neck and neck. There's no longer a point where the Lions are like a shoe-in for the one seed if the Eagles win and they're both 11-2. Once they get to that point where it's like, oh shit, now it's really a fight because the Eagles can easily just pull in front. The Lions could easily lose again. So, just
Yeah,
looking at the remaining schedule. So I feel like this matchup is important because you push the
yeah.
Eagles can easily be pushed up just that fast. It could happen. It could happen just from one loss. I don't know how the math works. I'm not going to pretend to know how the math works.
Yeah.
I think Boulevard's got seen some interesting stuff.
Was Detroit Green Bay the Thursday night game?
Yeah. No. That wasn't a Thursday night game, was it? What was the Thursday night game?
Yeah, it was the Thursday night game.
Okay, so they get them next week.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah,
Yeah,
this could
Lions
be
already won this week, so yeah, there'll be ain't no need to worry about the Bills right now. The
okay.
Lions already did their job for the week. How the hell I
Yeah,
forget that it was again? I just watched it this morning on
because it
fucking
was that
DVR.
uninteresting. Probably because it
Mm.
wasn't interesting.
It was a fairly interesting game. I
Yeah,
mean, how can a 34-31 game not be interesting? It had to be competitive.
I think because it didn't go the way I wanted it to go.
That doesn't mean it's not competitive.
Yeah, that's true.
It just means you're a spoiled brat. Was that mean? Come on, that field goal, all that shit. Yeah, that
Yeah,
fourth quarter. Really,
made me
that's
kind
the
of
whole.
mad.
It was a solid game. It was a good game.
It was. It was. I was watching, even though I wasn't supposed to be. I was supposed to be sleep and resting. I was sick, so I should have been asleep instead of watching the game. But football never sleeps, so why should I? Uh, I don't know. Do we have any other news going on in the league that's worthy of discussing? Or anything you've heard,
I
Boulevard?
have this game.
Oh, just
Zach Bond is fourth in the NFL in tackles. I don't give a shit what's happening in the league right now. I'm worried about these teams, and most of those teams don't even matter. We did that episode where we just told you what teams matter. If you didn't watch it, that's on y'all. It's still up on the page. Go watch it. You want to know which teams matter, which matchups are important. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm gonna put it this way: if Zach Bond fourth in the NFL in tackles, he needs to be re-signed as soon as fucking possible.
Yesterday.
Yeah, the rookies, especially on defense, those corners, they're playing great. They're
Mm-hmm.
consistently making the right moves. They look prepared. I just want to take a minute to point that out that the rookies, which rookies tend to make rookie mistakes. We're not really seeing that as much with these rookies this year.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if this is me putting a hex on them, saying it's a matter of time, but I mean, their rookie wall's got to be closing in, is all. the leap of the Philly Bulldogs is also pretty impressive. The way,
Yes.
yeah, like we were as fans mostly all down on them coming into this season and into about week 2 or 3. We were still kind of down on them. but they've taken a leap.
Yeah.
They've taken a leap. And I want to take a moment personally to apologize to Vic Fangio because, to quote Shaq, I was not familiar with your game. All I ever knew was bend but don't break. You give up a lot of fucking yards and you don't blitz. But you got this team looking good. If Miami hadn't been a bunch of soft wine asses, maybe you'd be doing this there. But luckily for us, you're not. That defense is third against the pass, allowing under 180 yards per game and 6.2 per completion. That defense is seventh against the run at under 105 yards per on the ground, tied for sixth in sacks, third fewest first downs allowed, fourth stingiest defense, fewest penalties in the league defensively, and the number one overall defense. Braden Mann is also the special teams player of the week.
Yeah. Just about everyone his punts was like inside the 5. That was crazy.
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out.
Yards also wanted to point that out, and Bryce Young hasn't thrown a pick in 3 games.
Nice. Go Bryce Young. I want to point out something that, because it always happens, and I think I don't know when we're going to start doing it, but you do the episode where we talk about people who will probably get new jobs in the upcoming season. But it kind of scares me because I'm now that we thinking about these DBs, how the defensive backs have been playing. Christian Parker, who is 3 years younger than I am, is probably going to be getting looks for a defensive coordinator position. I have a feeling he's the DB's coach for the Eagles. I know we never.
Well, considering the improvement of them rookies, he could definitely be being looked at for a coordinator spot. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets interviews.
Yeah. So that was just something I wanted to point out.
Fangio's not going anywhere, so.
Yeah, Vic Fangio, he may get a call or two for a head coach position, but he's trying to retire.
Yeah, word is this is where he wants to be. He wants to end it. So he ain't going nowhere. Unless somebody just throws a bank at him like Jerry, he ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, I think the only person we should be concerned about really is if Kellen Moore will get another offer somewhere. But I think we'll probably get another year of Kellen.
I have a whole list of potential head coaches that could be interviewed this season. I have 10. Kellen Moore is one of them. Joe Brady of the Bills.
Absolutely.
Wes Phillips of the Vikings, their offensive coordinator. Chargers defensive coordinator Jesse Minter. Lions defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn is obviously going to get some.
Absolutely.
Mike Vrabel is consulting on the Browns right now. He's been a head coach. He'll be back at some point. Yeah. Belichick is obviously already getting interviews in college. He had an interview with North Carolina.
I heard he had an interview with USC.
Yeah, if he took the job in North Carolina, he wanted Steve to be his head coach in waiting, Steve Belichick. Whatever. I do hope I would hire him without hesitation, though. North Carolina, hire Bill Belichick immediately. Could you imagine being like a fucking 18-year-old kid walking in, coming home from school, drop your bags off, and Bill Belichick sitting there in a cutoff hoodie?
I'd give him whatever he wants. I'd make him the athletic director.
Right. He's immediately the AD. Because Bill Belichick. He's going to raise more money than recruits.
You're going to get recruits right off the bat when you Bill Belichick's the head coach of the football team at UNC. What? Hold on. The recruit. Yep.
Exactly. Bill Belichick being in your kitchen, waiting for you to come home. It's going to make a big difference to a lot of them damn kids. That's it. I got more. Ben Johnson, the Lions offensive coordinator, definitely going to get some looks. Bobby Slowick, Texans. He's been around for a long time, too. He's going to get some looks. Todd Monken, Ravens offensive coordinator, will probably get some looks. I say probably because probably. Even Ravens fans are kind of disappointed in him right now, blaming him for their screw-ups and follies and what have you. But my number 10, I hope doesn't happen, and I might have been singing a different tune beginning of the season, but Kellen Moore. I could see Kellen Moore getting some phone calls after the season. Yeah, I just hope it ain't Dallas. But we know that team in Dallas will be looking for a coach, and it'll be one of these.
I doubt he'll go back to Dallas.
Me too. I could see it more being like Vrabel, but that's just me.
Vrabel will probably be a better fit for Dallas.
Mm-hmm. Dallas probably needs an experienced coach in there.
Yeah.
Especially somebody who won't just roll over for Jerry's bullshit.
I actually got another person that wasn't on your list, but
I'm sure there's a lot of missed.
Yeah. Robert Saleh, do you think he'll get another look?
If I was Robert Saleh, I would be trying to get a DC job somewhere.
I mean, right now he's the
not have to play with all of that bullshit, all of that politicking he had to go through in New York. Yeah. I wouldn't want to go through that again for a couple of years. Just go back, coach a defense, something a little less stressful, little less in your face with the media, having to talk to them every damn week, all that shit, all that scandalous nonsense. You ain't got to say you ain't got to be the fucking one suffering. Yeah.
He's the offensive consultant at Green Bay. Isn't that weird? Yeah. He's defensive-minded coach. He's the offensive consultant. Offensive consultant.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Yeah. At all. I feel like they hired him just to help them beat Rodgers.
Yeah. Just to rub it in his face, just to pour that salt in him. I will have a couple questions in my over-unders.
Okay, well, if we're going to get into it, let's get into it.
Wait, before that, two questions. Okay, one question. Let's say the Eagles fall behind by 10, 14 points. Can you trust them to win? Let's say they're down 14 going into the fourth. Could you trust this team to come back and win? Let's say, for shit's sake, middle of the pack team. Saints. No. Let's say they were playing the Chargers. Could they come back from 14?
If they were down 14 points?
Yeah.
Yes. 21? No.
Right. Fuck, my nose is runny.
I feel like once they go up, I feel like the Eagles have a habit of getting down on themselves.
Yeah.
I can see the Eagles coming back from a 2-score deficit. But
I mean, they were kind of a play by from behind team because they would always start slow.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't fall behind, like way behind.
Yeah. I don't see them being that team that come back from a huge deficit. I feel like once they're behind a certain amount, it's over for them. I feel like they're just like they pack it in, they're ready for tomorrow.
Will Barkley get the rushing record?
See, I don't know if it's my bias speaking or if it's common sense. I feel like Barkley's going to get 2,000 yards. I don't think Henry's going to get 2,000 yards because I feel like what Eagles defense just did was expose a lot about the Ravens. They exposed because both Lamar, they kept Lamar and Derek in check.
Well,
they played
with Barkley at his current pace, his current average of 125 a game, he would hit 21-25 and break the record.
I think he does.
He would break the record by 19 yards, I believe it is. 2106, 2105, something like that.
Hold on, I have to look at the Eagles' schedule right quick because
I have it. Carolina, Pittsburgh, Washington, Dallas, Giants.
So he'll break the record against the Giants.
Well, I like the sound of that. I mean, there's two decent defenses left on his schedule. It's Pittsburgh and Washington. And Washington won't have much to play for by then. So, 3 weeks from now. So, yeah, I could see Dallas and Washington just trying to play spoiler. But that's it. And the Giants are going to be trying to get the number one pick by then. So
I feel like Dallas will probably start packing it in. You don't think Dallas will start packing it in?
I don't think Jerry would allow that.
Look, I think
the teams they're just bad enough that they don't have to tank, they don't have to try to lose. They can actually go out there and put full effort and still come up short.
I
Because
think, yeah,
it's
you
just
might
in the
have
water now.
you have a point. I agree with you because Jerry's got too much pride to lose. If it was anybody else, I felt like Jerry'd be okay with
Yeah.
it. But if the Eagles, he's definitely not going to want to tank in against the Eagles, even though it's probably just going to happen either way, whether he wants
Yeah,
to
it's
or
going
not.
to be an L either way. I mean,
Yeah.
that's Eagles 4 of their next 5, 4 of their last 5 are at home. I don't really see them losing one of these games the way they've been playing.
Correct. Yeah, I agree with you.
Obviously, as I've said, I see Buffalo taking a loss. I mean, Lions taking a loss in Buffalo. So the division is right there for the Eagles to take. All they got to do is sweep their in division rivals, which what you're supposed to do. That's how you win a division. You beat the teams in your division, obviously. So it's right there. 5 games. I could see them going 5-0. 4-1 at best. I don't know who that one is, though.
Bills have the Rams this week. That may not be an easy win for them.
No, it may not be. I mean, Rams aren't an easy win for anyone.
Yeah,
they'll always compete. Even when they're not at full strength, they'll still be competing.
So don't
All right. For the OUs, what should the Eagles look for in the offseason?
In the offseason, I think they need to look for a replacement for Darius Slay. I hate to say that. I'd look for a third wide receiver, a second tight end, and a replacement for Darius Slay. Continue to grow that. If Christian Parker's not going next year, continue to grow that DB factory because maybe even pick up another safety as well. Yeah, and then the way Milton Williams is playing, it's a contract year. If he doesn't get signed by the Eagles, if he doesn't get re-signed, he's going to get a big contract. So we also want to look at another big interior lineman to fill that void.
I hope so. I mean, I could see him getting a big contract, but I don't feel like he would play up to it at all.
Yeah.
Like, he's not really a 10 sack per season guy or nothing like that. So anything in, some top level range would be an overpay.
I agree.
But somebody may do it. But I do hope it's not Philly if he gets big money. I hope it's not in Philly. But I do want Milton Williams back.
Yeah.
Same time, I think he's plenty replaceable.
I think they need to keep
that just look for depth everywhere.
Yes, 100%. But they need because they have nothing at the wide receiver position. Yeah. I think with Dallas Goedert being hurt, I think the Eagles need to start finding different ways to let Johnny Wilson fill some of that tight end role.
Dallas Goedert's hurt a lot, so
yeah,
that's a problem.
So yeah, I think a secondary tight end, third wide receiver, big time, and a DB to replace Slade because of the way it's looking. It's not going to be Keely Ringo, even though I have high hopes for Keely Ringo, but he looks like he's going to be a full-time special. He looks like he's going to be a full-time special teamer, right along with Sid Brown. So I mean, go ahead and get you another cornerback that's going to develop. Even if it's like a first-round pick, but I don't know. I can only speak for it.
We'll be discussing this again in a couple months anyway.
Absolutely.
And then it'll actually matter. So this is
and I can't wait till the draft live stream.
All right. It's time for did we do our no, we did not. Okay.
Time for the main event.
That's part of this. My over-under is part of that. So
all right, cool beans. Sounds like a plan. Let's get into it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
Sounds about that time.
Yeah, it's about that time.
That time.
I'll have a watch. I think I should buy one because I remember you
should always have a watch.
I mean, you gave me one for my wedding, but it broke the same day.
That was a crap watch.
Oh, okay. I felt super bad. Like it broke, and I didn't want to tell you.
I wouldn't have cared. Mine broke before I even got back up here.
Broke.
For sure, all three of them. The one I gave nephew, the one I gave you, and yeah, I'm sure they all broke immediately. Yeah.
All right. It's time for our predictions. I'm gonna go ahead and say the Eagles win by 40.
Okay, when you look at the way it's set up with the damn spread and everything, almost seems like the rest of the bookers, the Vegas people, whatever you call them, they believe you. Because they got Carolina, they got Philly as a 13.5-point favorite. Rounded up, say 2 touchdown point favorite. So, I mean, I want to ask, do you think they're over or under?
I'm taking the over.
I knew you were taking the over.
I always take the
over. Last time, it was like 3 weeks ago. I believe it was a Ravens game. Somebody was like a 10-point favorite. And I was like, no, that number's too fucking high. No, it was the game where the Lions-Jaguars. I said that number's too damn high, and the Jaguars proceeded to get beat by 46 points. So I was like, you know what? If it says over, I'm taking it over every time from here on out. So, damn it, I'm taking it over.
I'm taking it over.
I'm like, oh, that's just too high of a damn 10-point lead, 10.5-point favorite. Nah, that ain't happening. And the motherfuckers won by 46. So, if you say Carolina a two touchdown underdog, I'm gonna say Philly wins by 4 touchdowns. Lesson learned.
I feel like Bryce Young about to throw some interceptions. I feel like I need Quinion to snatch one of them Jones. I need him to take one back.
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
You gotta snatch one.
Maybe. Yeah, I'd take it from either of them. I want Shipley to get his damn touchdown. I'm still a little disappointed.
I want Shipley to get
I'm still
waiting for Ship. I've been waiting for Shipley, but I feel like it's coming. It's coming.
It better be. It's coming like that Quinion pick. That shit's right around the corner. It's just a matter of when.
I think both of them going to get a pick in the same game.
Shit. That'd be wild. That would be great. Free cheese sticks for both of them.
Yeah. So I saw that DeJohn, he has a celebration, and it's like this. I found out what it means. It means calm down. Calm down. That's what we do. I love that.
Okay.
I love it. Calm down. Calm down. That's what we do.
Exactly.
I like that. I like that.
Call that it's gonna be all right.
It's gonna be all right. So yeah, I like it. Over and unders. Okay. You got any other predictions for the game?
No, I think I went through all my basic shit. I am down to my over unders. All right. So, okay. Philly by whatever, 13.5. You already took the over. Over under 45 points. You think that's an over?
No, I'm gonna go under. I think they'll get 41.
Okay.
They'll score. They're gonna put up points, but I think they'll get 41. If they go over that, I'm like, it's crazy.
All right. Over 200 total yards for Saquon.
Under.
Okay. 220 in the air for Hurts.
Yes. This is the day.
That would be a hell of a game for him. He doesn't get that very often.
Yeah.
All right. 90 yards for any receiver not named A.J. Brown. Alfred, what's his name? Armando Alejandro Estrada.
Is Albert O still with the Eagles?
I don't know.
I don't know.
He's one of the most irrelevant players in the league. Red Bull's been a straight up bust.
If I said his name,
years back picking ball up on Matt, like, yeah, he young, he got all that damn potential. He gonna pan out.
It was the same thing with. There's a lot of guys like that, man. I'm one of those people that I grab somebody and I'm like, listen, I got high hopes for him. Like, you want to know a guy who I had high hopes for, and if I said his name, you'd be like, who? I was like, Amir Speed gonna be that bull.
Who?
And nobody
Hey.
know who the hell that man is. He like a 5th string cornerback. I was
Hmm.
like, he gonna be that bull.
Well, it could be one day. Probably not,
Here,
though.
you got a question. You got more
Hmm.
questions. I got a question for you, but it's
Yeah, go on.
nonsense.
Go on.
2 questions.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you had more.
I do. I have plenty more.
My questions can wait. My questions to wait.
All right. Well, I mean, I don't know if you said yes or no to any receiver not named Arthur Juan Brown.
No.
All right, then 90 yards for Albert Juan Brown.
No.
Ooh, okay. Just gonna spread it around.
Yes.
Like butter. All right. Now these are the Carolina side over under 220 for Bryce Young in there.
Under, way under. I don't think he gets 100 yards.
They barely allow 180. So over under 2 TDs for Bryce Young.
No, under.
You don't have any hopes for dude.
They're gonna shut the Eagles out. I don't think it's gonna be a shutout. I think that the Panthers will get a field goal, but I think that'll be it.
Damn, that's cold. I'll at least give them some credit. They'll score.
I just don't feel like they have anything. I don't think they have enough on offense to compete with the Eagles defense.
No, they don't. But they'll get through a couple times. Every team does.
Yeah,
but
with a field goal.
Not enough for it to make a real difference on a scoreboard. But I do think they'll hit 10 to 13.
Yeah, they'll get that. Yeah. They'll get that in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. I mean, it still counts though. Yeah, I mean, if we're counting, counting blowout garbage time, they're going to get some numbers. They could hit 13. Nothing more than that, though.
I'll give them that.
110 on the ground for Carolina total?
No.
All right.
I think Jonathan Brooks just came back, and he just back off an injury.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not happening.
I like Brooks.
I do too.
I mean, Hubbard's 6th in the league right now in rushing yards. So they have a formidable run game. And they got Bryce Young. But no. I'm going to say yeah to the 110 on the ground now. Because the Eagles average defensively allow 105. So 110 is feasible.
Okay.
That's it. Do the Eagles get over under more or less Massimeno's 4 sacks?
Yes. Over.
You're hoping for way over, I bet.
I'm way over on that. I feel like there's going to be a lot of that. They're going to push that line back.
How many interceptions for Bryce Young? How many interceptions for Bryce Catherine Young?
3 interceptions.
3 interceptions for Bryce Catherine. Okay. I'm actually looking to see if his name is Bryce Catherine Young or if I just made that up. No, that's his name, Bryce Catherine Young. As far as I can see, I see nothing on his page to change my mind. All right. I'm out of over-unders. So.
Okay. I have 2 shot in the dark questions. You know me. I like the dream. So I got 2 questions before we close out. I actually asked you this in the messenger, but I wanted to make sure that I asked you in front of the people. I'm gonna give you guys a scenario, everybody. Deontay Johnson is waived by the Ravens. The Eagles claim Deontay Johnson off waivers. Do you think that helps? Do you think that'd be something that is possible?
See, me, I still don't. I'm not buying it on Deontay Johnson. Like, he's just another one player. Like, we all know he has the ability. Just like Jahan Dotson. We know he has the ability to do it, but we haven't seen it consistently enough to have full confidence that he will do it. Is Deontay Johnson an upgrade over Jahan Dotson? Yeah, I mean, he'll get more than 1 catch a game, maybe. That's a real low bar to clear. And you could do that with, you can probably find somebody off the street at this point that can get 2 targets, 3 targets a game. That's more than Dotson's been doing. So I don't think necessarily that Johnson is the guy. I do think we could find something better, but probably not for cheap.
Mm.
And that would be a key. We'd have to get bang for the buck out of that third receiver because you can't go spending big money on another receiver at this point.
I agree.
Other pieces that are going to need to be re-signed soon. But if he were available, we could do worse in a pinch.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'd take him. I would take him, but I wouldn't look into re-signing him unless he really stepped up.
All right. I know your answer for this next one, but I just want to piss you off real quick. So the Commanders waived Emmanuel Forbes. Would you bring him in to develop behind Slay?
Yes, because that is a young. Wait, how tall is Forbes? Forbes got some good height on him, don't he? Yeah, I would bring him in. He's got good size. He's young. He had the ability to earn a high pick. Like he was picked high, first round, second round, something like that. So yeah, I would definitely bring Forbes in.
That was not the
it's like a shot in the dark based on his potential. Absolutely.
He'll probably be cheap. Pick him up in free agency. He'll be cheap.
Yeah, you would think. I mean, he was a first round pick that got cut. Who wouldn't want? I mean, they always get a second, third shot. So he's no different. He'll get a shot. I mean, if the Eagles could scoop him up, even as just to be like a little snitch on the Commanders, I'm fine with that. Because there is potential there. It's like Ringo. We know there's something there, but we just gotta get it to the surface. Get it to the surface and get it consistently out of him. Forbes was a damn mess last season. Like he was getting burned by everybody. I can see why they cut him. But they also threw him out there early. He probably wasn't ready to be out there.
I agree.
Especially with rookies, you can't just throw every rookie out there to sink or swim because some of them just ain't mentally ready. They don't even know what they're seeing. And you can't, like, you're shortchanging yourself and you're wasting that pick by putting people out there that aren't prepared.
Yeah.
And then leaving them out there unprepared. So I feel like the Commanders may have done Forbes wrong and that they didn't let him develop. They just let him out, threw him out there and to the Lions, and he got eaten alive. But I don't think he would have to do that on the Eagles because they have enough depth in the secondary to where he can sit back, maybe scout team, and just develop. So that's what he needs to do. But the talent is there. So, yeah, I would absolutely take a flyer on Emmanuel Forbes. Just because he's young, he's got good size, and he was a high pick.
Okay. So I want to keep it going. Just one more question before we close out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a bit of a game. Cut. Okay, no, it's re-sign, cut, or forced to retire. Yeah. Re-sign, cut, or forced to retire. So here it is. Isaiah Rodgers, James Bradbury, Avonte Maddox. Who do you re-sign? Who do you cut? And who do you force to retire?
That list again?
Avonte Maddox, Isaiah Rodgers, James Bradbury.
Bradbury's retired. That's all I know. Bradbury needs to go. He doesn't need to be picked up on he doesn't need to be on any roster. He's like you just slide the card and you go through. That's what he is. Cut a turnstile. Yeah. You just go right through. You can do whatever you want. He's just going to stand there and accept it. You can jump over him. You can run through him. He's just going to stand there. So I would cut him. I mean, he would retire. I'd cut Maddox, and I would re-sign Rodgers.
Okay.
Although you could really go either way on Rodgers and Maddox. But I feel like Rodgers has slightly more upside. Maybe. We've seen what Maddox can do. Maddox is already peaked. We see him, what he is.
I've been saying that man's been a liability for years now.
Yeah. But I mean, Rodgers could be, but there's still a lot more room to grow because he hasn't gotten a lot of reps.
Yeah, right.
Like, yeah. So, yeah, I would definitely take a flyer if I could get Isaiah Rodgers back on the cheap, I absolutely would.
Okay.
Just
all right, everybody. That was the Live from the Bench episode. And we're going to ask you the same question. How does the Panthers matchup affect the Eagles season? I want you guys to think about that after you watch this video. And then go home, and I want you to keep one thing in mind. It's the same thing I tell you guys every time we put these videos out there. Don't quit, because we can't all be starters. And there's one thing that Boulevard, well, maybe not the only thing, but it's one thing for sure. We know that Boulevard can do better than anybody else, and he can tell you these 3 words that I will never have anybody else on this show come on in here and tell you.
Okay. Well, nobody else gets to come on here anyway because this is our show. Yeah. But thanks y'all for coming out. God bless. Good night. Hit the bench.